What's going on is Anton from antondaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. The thing that I catch the most flack about is holding people accountable, specifically women. Now, I'm an equal accountability smoke giver, which means that I'm actually harder on guys than I am on women. I repeat, I'm actually harder on guys than I am on women. But I do catch a lot of flack for when we bring women to the front of the congregation based on some of the things that they doing or that they brag about. So they'll jump on TikTok or they'll jump on Instagram or YouTube and they do whole podcasts and they talk about how they slutted out and then, you know, they get fairly compensated for being for the streets. We know that a lot of these women have OFs and stuff like that. And it's a lot of these women that also consider themselves Instagram models, meaning that they don't really do anything meaningful except for place themselves in a position and then be taken care of by a bunch of other simps or, you know, dudes that are willing to spend money on them in order to get their time. And so I look at this as nothing more than a form of selling yourself. And you can take that to mean whatever it is that you want it to mean, but it's a form of selling yourself. And recently we've seen a lot of women continue to finesse a lot of guys. Case in point, you can take Trayvon Diggs, and that he's recently made the news because his baby mama or his recent baby mama, Joey Chavez, I think that's her name. I don't follow her. I don't follow her on Instagram, but you know, I am paying attention to what's happening in sports. And when we see a person like Trayvon Diggs put themselves in a position to make a woman a 3-time baby mama, especially after she got a baby with Future and Bow Wow, that's crazy to me, right? And then obviously we got the other person that's notorious that's been making the news, and that's Draya Michelle. And I actually seen her in Detroit. I guess she has some kind of event here, but I seen her in Detroit. Was it late last year? Late last year? Neither here nor there. And she was coming out of a restaurant and I was going into a restaurant. So no big deal, but recently she's gotten pregnant by none other than young NBA superstar or young NBA budding star, Jalen Green, who is no older than what, 21, 22 years old, recently got drafted. Ceiling is here, and she is in her late 30s, if I'm not mistaken, and has a child that is around the same age as Jalen Green, right? Now, why does all of this make sense in this conversation? Well, recently there's been people on the internet that's been coming along and they've been holding her accountable, including myself, as far as having these different conversations, because it's relevant, especially now that we have social media, to talk about these issues. And I think that my voice is important and my panels are important in order to instruct men on how they don't get finessed or how they don't put them in a situation in order to get finessed. And there's been other people like Swaggy P, AKA Nick Young, and Gilbert Arenas that's, you know, been talked about how it is that they dealt with these young chicks or whatever, Andrea specifically. And we talked about that on After Hours. Make sure y'all tune in to After Hours tonight. But then recently is this other guy that I've never heard of before that decided to insert himself into the congregation or into the conversation and say that he also bust Draya down. Now, I got to give Draya a little bit of credit because most times I say, yo, listen, just don't respond, or if people talking about you, then just let it go. It is what it is. Have a good time. Let them get their rocks off. It's going to be somebody else in the news later. Make sure you get yours, right? As far as being a celebrity or being somebody that has some level of visibility. And she's been taking it like a champ. But it's recently been a guy that came out and he said, listen, I busted down too. And she came out and said, listen, man, I've been taking my L's and my lumps in a lot of places. And I don't usually believe women. But I decided that I probably am going to believe her this time because she ain't denying nothing except for this one guy that just came out of nowhere and said that he bust her down. And she was just basically like, listen, I take all of my L's from all of y'all, but I don't know this one guy. This guy is capping. I ain't never slept with this guy a day in my life. I don't know where he came from. And I don't know how all of a sudden he wanted to insert himself into a conversation. Let me tell you why this is wrong on a couple different levels, right? First of all, it's wrong because I don't believe in guys, regardless of how famous you are or any of that. I don't believe in guys ultimately telling about the box that they get by naming names, right? Listen, if you want to talk about what your lifestyle has been like, or you want to have a conversation, depending on the context of the conversation, where you break down, oh, okay, well, this is what used to happen in my life, or this is what my lifestyle is like. That's one thing. But I'm still in the camp of, and I know that this is a a difference of opinion in a lot of people. Some people agree with me, some people don't. Cool. I'm in the camp of you just don't name names. As a matter of fact, if you're a real one, the biggest thing is you don't even want people to know who it is that you've dealt with in your past or who you're dealing with, right? I mean, if you're married, then that goes without saying, because I don't know any guy that's married that wouldn't be busting down their wife. But, you know, just some random chicks or some chicks that you done dealt with in the past, you don't talk about the type of chicks, or you don't openly in general public on social media just talk about and name names. I just personally don't believe that. Now, I believe in holding people accountable based off of what it is that they say and what they put out there to the media, because I don't believe in influencing people in the wrong way. But me personally, if I'm these people that's dealing with these famous people, or if I'm this person that's dealing with these women, even regular guys, I just don't think that it's G to just be randomly shouting out the different chicks that you busting down. If people can't figure out that she for the streets, if you can't talk in general based off of who she is, then just leave it alone. That's number one. But see, it's 10 times worse. Even if you're against me on that, you gotta agree with me on this as a guy and as a woman. It's the corniest thing in the world to lie on your D. It's the corniest thing in the world to front. And see, this is why it's difficult to believe a lot of these guys that be saying that they be busting a lot of these chicks down, because some of these dudes be lying. And they be acting like they doing it just to be a part of the clique. And that's how I know you corny, because you can't be any cornier than a dude that lie and say that you bust a chick down that you didn't bust down. She ain't denied nobody else. We got to throw her a round of applause for at least not lying about the fact that other dudes was exposing her, even though I don't think that that was cool either. You got to give her a G pass for that, because she know who she is and she know whether or not she for the streets. But good God, for a chick to come out and say, listen, all of these other dudes, I've been taking my L's, but for you, you a cornball. I think that that is one of the corniest things that you can possibly do as a man, is to cap on the fact that you really didn't bust this chick down, but you wanted to be a part of the crew. So not only did you put yourself in a position to try to expose a chick, but you falsely accuse a chick, which we hold women accountable for every single day, about lying, about messing up a dude's relationship, messing up his reputation, messing up his money. We hold women accountable for this every single day. So it makes it much more difficult for us to have these conversations as men when we not a representation of the thing that we hold women accountable for. You can't do that, bro. If you really bust her down, that's one thing. We can have a debate about that. But if you over here capping about your D, acting like you bust a chick down, stop, bro. Stop. Don't ever do that as a man. As a man, don't ever in your life lie and say that you bust a chick down when you really didn't. What did you hope to accomplish out of that? What was you gonna get out of that? What was a zero-sum total gain that you was gonna get out of that as a result of lying and saying that you bust a chick down? First, you gotta hope that she never say nothing or that it don't go viral. I'm assuming that you clout chasing. And then third, are you looking to get famous, or are you looking to get a bag as a result of it? Because ultimately, you know what I'm saying? People gonna address it and say, no, it's not true or anything. Like, very rarely do you see guys or women deny that they slept with somebody that they really slept with. Like, that just don't happen. Women are eager to share details, especially if you're somebody of significance. They're eager to share the details of a dude that they didn't been with. And so for you to do that and expose yourself like that and lie on your D and really didn't even bust her down, yo, man, that's corny. You can't even have those type of guys in your clique. You can't have those type of guys around you, because they'll fuck up a bag, bro. They'll do anything. If you're willing to clout chase off of a chick that you didn't even sleep with, you would do anything in order to get some clout, and I can't have you around me. Let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Teach Hanley, 30% off your first order plus a free gift. After hours tonight, we getting it popping. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you later. Peace.